They need someone to laugh at my jokes. I don't know. Look, I got to say that
I can't do it.
Okay,
tried.
I know. Last week I was gold. I was bringing it, and there was just like crickets on the other side. It was brutal. I did not have Jason and Joey in that one at all. I got Jason with the 5-hole though. He did like that.
That was strong.
Otherwise,
what? We could think about like going back, like the older TV shows, like when we were growing up. But add a laugh track.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's plenty of me laughing over the course of our
just
580 episodes or whatever the hell we have now.
When I make a bad joke, I'm just going to play Harper's laugh.
We're gonna get you. We should get you a like a sound, soundboard kind of thing, and just a little chuckle here for some things, and a full belly laugh.
It'd be really helpful if we had like a sound guy, like a I don't know, like a jingle guy. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah. If like somebody did jingles and like.
I mean, that could really be useful with that.
But, right.
Alas.
I mean, that's the thing. We're just a small time production here. Don't have anybody to mix the drinks or make the crappy jingles.
I mixed my own drink, slacker.
Yeah, so just prepare to.
It'll be great.
It'll be perfect.
Yeah, so just prepare to. Y'all motherfuckers don't watch us play throughout the year, to tell you the truth. I'm gonna be real with you, and I don't care if I get fined.
That train is off the track.
I feel like you can't just like jump through Neptune and be okay.
Just prepare to.
What the show needs is more dogs and bears and chickens and stuff.
Yeah, so just prepare to be awash in unbelievable goodness.
Welcome, Pacers fans. You are listening to the Undebeatables, your semi-weekly Pacers podcast. Today is January 9th, 2022, and this is episode 563. Coming to you from Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm your host, Joey Gaffrida, the man behind the dials and former season ticket holder. This show, we're going to discuss a super exciting 1 and 2 week of Pacers basketball. Joining me this show are two of our three analysts, coast to coast, like buttered toast. First, from Asheville, North Carolina, he's our in-house bartender, and he mixes up the drinks and the crappy jingles. John Colson.
What is up, Pacer Nation? What is up, Undebeatables? Shout out this week to my roommates, Angela and Amanda. They continue to put up with me, so shout out.
Shout out. And from Boise, Idaho, out west, it's our enforcer, John Harper.
What is going on, fellas? Happy New Year to you. A couple shout outs today. One to Jacksonville, Florida. Easily one of the top 10 swamp towns in northeastern Florida. Managed to lock down the number one pick in the NFL draft in spite of shutting the door on the Colts season today. From their 2-14 record. Not real great, so the Colts are out. Yeah, too bad. And also shouting out, Take-a-Palooza! Because Pacers.
Yeah, we've missed you the last couple of weeks, Harper, with your holiday travel. We're going to need your take on the on Lance and on tanking.
How much tape you got?
All of it.
We'll get there. And I'm gonna shout out to Jill and Jason this week too,
for sure.
Thinking of you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we get into talk about this week of basketball, I want to remind you that you can support us by heading over to patreon.com/undebeatables, and you can support us for as little as $1 per month. All the support, thanks to everybody who's done that. All the support is very helpful to us and helps us on our plans of progressing to be the longest. Oh, you know what? We are the longest running Pacers podcast that there has ever been.
Wow.
Look
shout out to us.
Yeah.
Shout
Prove
out.
me wrong.
And our anniversary is here in about next week. So
That's factual.
Do we know
That is
what is
factual.
it? Is it 9 or 10 years?
I think it's 8, isn't it?
let's see.
Well, no, we started in January 2012 or 13.
13.
13. Okay, so this would be 9.
It'll be 9.
What's the 9th anniversary stone or gift?
I think you fire Coulson. Is that the 9th anniversary?
It's traditional, yeah.
That's why I've never had a relationship go longer than 9 years.
That's exactly why. Yeah. They're just observing basic, social norms, Coulson.
Sure.
Here we go. So it's pottery and willow wood.
Colson, your thoughts on Willowwood?
I was going to throw you a pot. That's what I was going to do. Also, Willowwood was the nickname of my penis in high school.
God.
Yep. There it is. Missed you guys.
It's what's used to make wicker. So
That's what she said.
I thought wicker was used to make wicker, no?
boy, I'm telling you what brides.com is telling me.
Okay. So wicker is actually a finished product. Okay.
I guess so. Yeah.
All right,
Unless
well,
Coulson, you got a wicker guy? I don't know.
That's right.
I think Nico's the guy who knows all the guys. I'm sure he's got a wicker
Okay.
guy. Or at least a Willowwood
right.
guy.
Well, I'm his Willowwood guy.
Okay. So let's talk about some basketball.
No, Joey. We got more things to do.
Before we do that, though, we want to start the basketball conversation with a haiku.
So this is the Miller Haiku Life Champagne of Poems corner. Now, I know I'm gonna spoil something Joey wants to share with everyone, but I want to say that I wrote this before Lance was signed for the rest of the season, so I have more hope now.
Once again, scooped by a haiku.
That's 2 weeks in a row?
Yeah, it's 2 weeks.
Jeez.
So I wrote this earlier
We'll
this
call
week.
it Scoop Corner.
Scoop corner. I mean, this is before Lance fixed everything, is what I'm saying. Trade deadline sits, coiled snake. The bite is all but inevitable. That was my haiku.
Dark times.
But then Lance is fixing everything, so I feel better. But I didn't have time to rewrite one. Because they take a long time, you know?
We're talking 17 syllables, man. You can't just churn those out.
I'm going to send you a haiku generator here. We'll take a quick break.
Yeah, we can just make a bot for this, can't we?
Yeah, for sure.
and then that's and then it's easy to fire me because you have a bot to make the haikus.
People will just never know you're gone. We'll just have the bot.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
All right, so we had 3 games this week. Game last Sunday we discussed with Cleveland. We lost that game 108-104. But we had 2. We started the week off with 2 losses. First one to the New York Knickerbockers away. And we lose this one 104-94. This was a bit of a bummer. I don't like losing to the Knicks.
Don't like scoring 94 points.
I don't like scoring 94 points. I don't like R.J. Barrett dropping 32 on us. I'm less shocked when Julius Randle scores 30, but, don't love it. And we're rolling out our Kiefer Sykes, Dwayne Washington, 1-2 punch from the starters.
Well, they locked down Evan Fournier, however. 0 points from their starting guard.
Doesn't Evan Fournier lock down Evan Fournier? He's a lockdown specialist.
Trying to give some love to my young backcourt.
He's had his moments. Actually, it was Sykes and Washington played really well. So, but
no one else.
Really,
yeah.
Really, those are the 2 best players on our team that day.
And we lost.
And we lost. Yeah.
Okay.
Justin Holiday ends with 3. Miles Turner ends with 5. But yeah, so let me read off the health and safety protocols list. Goga Batadze. I guess Brogdon out for, this one says return to competition reconditioning, which
That's
I've never
correct.
seen.
Yeah, you guys can
And
explain
Jeremy
that to me
Lamb.
later.
Lamb is in the same one, which is that like a post health and safety, like you're not feeling great, maybe? I don't know.
No,
Maybe you're not
I think they're like, hey, you can come back, but like we got to make sure that you can, run
run. Okay.
without
And so
passing
we're-
out.
So you're fine to play, but we're benching you anyway. Here's a
right.
new designation we made up to encapsulate that.
You're going to be bad, so. Yeah.
Dwayne Sykes, Dwayne Washington Jr. is still better than you. Is the
Yeah.
yeah,
This is subtext. So, yeah.
or overt text.
Also out for health and safety this game, Chris Duarte, Isaiah Jackson, Karis LeVert, who was killing it last week, Keelan Martin, and TJ Warren still with health and safety also.
Still got a toe.
Still has a toe. And TJ McConnell out for the surgery. So, a little short-handed.
We still had our two best players. We had Sykes and Washington.
Yes. So we lost that game to the Knickerbockers. But this is where I started paying a lot more attention. Brooklyn Nets coming to Indiana. This is on Wednesday, the 5th. And this is Lance Stephenson's return to the Fieldhouse. And also Kyrie Irving, is active. He comes back this game and has a pretty good game, to be honest.
Even without the reconditioning component of the.
Or you can't have that at home, but you can have it on the road. I don't know.
Gotcha.
But so, this was Kyrie's like welcome back party, and Lance Stephenson dropped 20 in the first quarter, so that was awesome. He's the first NBA player who to do that.
Off the bench.
Off the bench,
Yeah.
right? Specifically at the first quarter, but regardless, pretty amazing. For the game, puts down 30. 30 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds, and I mean, he wasn't forced in anything.
30 points is his career high, correct?
It's his Pacers high at least.
Pacers high, okay. I assumed all good things happened in his career as a Pacer.
Yeah, I mean, he did play. He played for lots of other teams, but
He's played for
played
other
for the
countries.
He played for other countries, other countries, but he plays the best in Indiana. Also, great game from Sabonis. Sabonis got lost a little bit this week in a lot of the Lance Stephenson news. He had he has a 32-point triple double this game, and
nobody asked him any questions afterwards.
I mean, yeah, it's all about Lance.
Yeah, no, the questions they did ask him were about Lance.
Yes. Also, I want to say Kevin Durant had a ridiculous game. He dropped 39 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, and I don't know if he even sweat that game. He
made it look very easy.
It was super easy. And Harden was managed, I guess, but they were too good. And we started 2 guys that had, I think, 9 NBA games under their belt before that game.
Combined,
yeah.
Okay, good. Perfect.
Between Sykes and Washington. But yeah, also just a bunch of, essentially the same list as the previous game. Also, this is a back-to-back, and Sykes and Washington both starting a back-to-back against a rested Big Three from Brooklyn. So I think fatigue was getting there too. And last game of the week was yesterday evening, and Indiana takes down Utah 125-113. For me, the two exciting things were, 3 exciting things. Beating a good team. They did not have Gobert, but
they had everybody else.
They They had basically everybody else. Yeah. Joe Ingles was out too. He's certainly contributor. Sure. But our DNP list which doesn't make me feel bad about any of that.
No.
So they beat a good team. Lance Stevenson sets his career assist high with 14 assists, and again off the bench. He played essentially starter minutes, but did come off the bench. 14 assists, 16 points, 6 boards. He was sniffing a triple double, but it wouldn't have come naturally. And Sabonis drops 42. He was essentially unstoppable. Like Whiteside did not look good that game. Whiteside had no chance. He could not guard him, and did not guard him. So Pacers get a win. The fans, I'll tell you what, the team did not crumble in the fourth quarter. The fans were excited, and the Pacers were smiling and happy. And again, we're starting Dwayne Washington Jr. and Kiefer Sykes, the guys that are they're just a handful of games under their belt in the NBA, and they were on the floor at the end of the game. They were. I'm gonna talk to you guys about this. Maybe not at this moment, but like Miles Turner's not in the game at crunch time.
He didn't have a great week.
No.
Yeah, I mean, we've tried that before. We need to win a lot of those games.
Right. Well. A couple items to note on this one. Both Duarte and Lamb came back from their COVID protocols, and apparently they're resting. Get your legs under you. Timeout. Osei Brissett, the sauce, also played all week, and I thought was good off the bench. It was just consistent. He's part of a 9-man road, even though we only have 9 guys to play. But he's been I thought a bright spot this week. Don't want him to get overshadowed by the Lance talk, even though he will be.
Harper, what are your feelings on this week and these last couple weeks? And we since these games we have signed Lance to the rest of the season. So, Mike shouted out on Slack that if we didn't sign him, it was clear that we were trying to tank, and if we did, maybe what does that mean that we do sign?
I mean, it's been a brutal last couple of weeks to the point where, I have mixed feelings about winning games now. So,
right.
The losses are just as valuable as the wins at this point. I mean, we're not a good team. I mean, are we better without our top 5 guys outside of Sabonis? Is that what's happening now? Just Sabonis and anyone is better than what we built? That seems to be the message. So I don't know. It's been tough to watch. Obviously, Utah was a good game. I mean, sure, we played fine for most of the Nets game before just absolutely getting demolished in the fourth quarter. We were up 14 in the second half. I mean, it's not a fun team to watch. I think it was Jason said it pretty well. Is like the exact opposite of the old Peyton Manning teams when like you always felt like you had a chance to go in there and win those games regardless of matter. This team goes out and finds ways to lose regardless of where they're at.
We have those conversations in Slack. Someone's like, I don't know how we lose this game, and then somebody inevitably is like, oh, there, we found it.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
So it's been a tough team to watch with their inconsistencies over the course of the season. So, sure, Lance is the solution. Why not?
Perfect.
Well, so shout out Lance for being signed for the rest of the season as a Pacer. Also shout out Lance for I've made it official. He is now number 5 on the Colson top 25 Pacers.
Ooh.
Beating out. He's moved Dale Davis down a notch. That's how much I
get out of here.
No, seriously, and I thought about it for a long time. One of the reasons I love Lance is how much Joey loves Lance, but also how much the crowd loves him, how much the crowd feeds off him.
It's not just me.
Yeah, I know, and nobody's ever come back 3 times. I just felt like it was he's primed for it. So currently it's Reggie Miller, Antonio Davis, Al Harrington, Jermaine O'Neal, and Lance Stevenson.
Yeah.
That's my current top 5 right now. So shout out Lance. I also do want one more shout out for Kiefer Sykes, who we signed for the rest of the season. 28-year-old rookie.
Oh, I thought you were going to say he was number 6 on the list.
No. 28-year-old rookie. They asked Carlisle. They said, "Oh, how's that? With Sykes playing pretty well." And he was like, "Pretty well? The guy's playing 40 minutes a night and giving me 20 points. He's playing pretty well." He was ready to go to bat for Kiefer. So I'm glad that he's here for the rest of the season. Also, Sykes is such a badass last name. I don't know if we need to come up with a nickname for Kiefer. I kind of just like Sykes.
He's
What do
relieved.
you think?
Sykesy.
You think that's enough? Just his name itself?
Yeah, it's pretty solid.
All right.
We'll see. Something might come to us. So, before this week, there was a game where Sabonis missed, and Turner had like 30 points and 12 rebounds and was dominant. And then I thought, well, here we go. This means we're going to trade Sabonis because we've figured out that we have this defensive beast who also can play offense if he's the focal point at the center spot. And then Lance comes back and is like, "Oh yeah, I just want to play with Domas." And like Domas is having like a, not that he was playing that poorly, but he was having a below all-star level season, and now he's
Sabonis?
Yeah.
You're ripping on Sabonis right now.
No, what I'm saying is, I think Lance is rejuvenated him. Is all I'm saying. I'm giving Lance some credit.
Okay. I mean, Sabonis is the only consistent player on our team. I mean, he's 19 points, 12 boards, and almost 5 assists a game. I mean, yeah, I guess you can argue that he might not make an All-Star game, but he's still far and away our best player.
Yeah,
And
well,
Miles Turner
he won't make an All-Star game because our team is so bad, probably not because he's played that poorly. You're right. That's fair.
Yeah, and Miles Turner is just like the Pacers personified. He's just wildly inconsistent.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's hard to know what's going to happen at the trade deadline. I don't know.
What's the date on the trade deadline?
February.
Is that handy?
I thought it was like February 6th. Is that right?
Yeah, 6th or 8th. Something like the first week of February.
February 10th.
Okay, second week.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know. The real over/under is Pritchard's still going to be with us at that time, and Buchanan, because I don't know. Like I said, when you just field a bunch of nobodies in Sabonis and it's better than the team that you've built, like that's not necessarily saying something great about your team, right?
No. So yeah, we promoted Dwayne Washington Jr. from our 2-way contract. We pulled Sykes essentially off the street, and we called Lance Stevenson. Hey, you still have our number, right? And yeah, you're right. These guys are playing better than Levert and Brogdon, and
it's also a little shocking it took us that long to sign Lance. The guy's like our ace in the hole. Like he's always just
Every
sitting there
time.
waiting for us to call every season. And
They were doing I'm on the Pacers email list, and they're touting him. They're like, here's the Lance highlight clip from last night's game. I was like, this guy might be gone in 3 days if you don't sign him.
They put a
This seems
banner
like
on
a
the
weird
outside
thing.
of the field house,
Right.
and they're like, he might be gone in 10 days.
the reason he's
might
been back
wanna
3 times is because we just keep not signing him here.
Right. Yeah, you think about the I don't know, was it Charlie? Was it Easy Money that put down I feel like we missed a lot from the Lance Domas partnership over the last 2 years because we just didn't re-sign Lance and he had to go to China or wherever. So he's I mean at this point you're saying to yourself, I mean I think we're clearly going to trade Karis LeVert because Lance is playing better than him.
I mean, who knows? It's certainly nice to have Lance back. Lance is a super imperfect basketball player in a lot of ways, but so far he's the highlight of the season. So yay? Question mark.
I'll say this about him. I think that not all of the things, but there were things that were imperfect things about his game, and I think a lot of those things have been toned back. I've enjoyed watching him. He plays. He runs the point generally when he's on the floor, And there's been some bad turnovers, but in general, there's less than there were. And I think he's done I mean, look, it's not a great sample size, but the things that I've seen that you didn't like to see seem to have been toned down. So
I don't disagree with
so
that.
far.
I mean, he's what, 31 now? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
he's also had to go to China and the G League to get back in the NBA. Like, I do see that he's, and one of the things that he talks about is also in these interviews is all the kids he's been training in basketball, right? Like he's helping, when he's in the G League, he's talking to these rookies or these undrafted guys and trying to make them better, and overseas as well. So it's like, I think he has matured and become more of a mentor, and he's going to make less turnovers. Probably not. He's a rhythm assister,
He is. 14 assists, and he's super unselfish. I really like hearing Carlisle talk about him in like the post game. He's not as versed in the Stevenson game as the Indiana fans are, but he speaks about his unselfishness and not forcing things, and he was told that there's a special connection with the fans. So we of course have seen that the fans have been loving it. They've been standing ovation when he's on the floor, or when he checks in, and I've read a couple like pretty fun quotes from Stevenson this last week, and one was like when he puts on the Pacers jersey, that's where he feels like that's when he gets his superpowers. I think Charlie put in Slack like he brought out his old. He had some Born Ready and one shoes, the and one brand, but he had those, and he's been wearing those in the Pacer colors, and what kind of guy on a 10-day contract is doing that stuff? So now he's on a real contract. So
we do need to pour out some beer for Brad Wanamaker and Keelan Martin, the two that got cut, to make room for Kiefer Sykes and Lance Stevenson. So I'm pouring that down my throat for you, gentlemen.
I feel like you were going to do that anyway.
Yeah, I was, but it's good to
Brad
mention
Maker
them.
was going to get cut no matter what anyway, too. So inevitabilities.
Hey, look, they had a cup of coffee with the Pacers, and we'll always love you for it. Harper
Keelan's a good
won't.
dude.
Keelan Martin was a great story. And,
Yeah, I like Keelan.
Yeah,
Wanamaker was always confusing.
yeah, agreed. Not sure why we had him instead of Aaron Holiday.
Very unclear. Well, and speaking of bad news, our upcoming schedule for this week: at Boston, home to Boston 2 nights later, before hosting the Phoenix Suns on the 17th. That's it for next week. On the 17th, we go out west to get the Clippers, then the Lakers, then the Warriors, then the Suns some more, before heading to New Orleans to finish out that road trip. So, sweep?
Not the road trip, but I do feel like Lance is going to beat up on Boston at our house, at least. Like when he's at home, I feel like we're getting that Boston W now. The Suns are probably the best basketball team in the league.
Aren't they defending champs or something?
Western Conference champs. So I feel like we might lose that one. I'm gonna go 2-1 this week because we got Lance to fix everything.
Oh, we're going to beat Boston on the
Boston.
road as well.
Yeah. We just sweep that back to back.
We swept Utah, by the way. Just FYI.
Yeah.
Harper, what you got for prediction?
0-3. Tankapalooza, baby.
Tankapalooza. Time to start rooting for the ball not to go in.
It's easier than what I was doing.
Which is being in constant pain.
This team's hard to root for.
I'm hoping we've turned a corner. Why does that phrase give me flashbacks? I don't know why.
No, I think we've
We're on Lance
lanced
Street now.
We've lanced a scar. Is that what you do? No, you lance a boil.
Nope. Yep.
Okay.
You can lance a
Maybe
scar. It
we've
doesn't do
lanced a
anything.
boil.
That's gross. Thank you for that imagery.
That's my new turn the corner. We've lanced a boil.
Nope. I'd rather it wouldn't. Wouldn't do that.
Hard pass.
No. Well, in the words of Jason Triplett, I, for one, welcome our new Lance Stevenson overlord. So I think we're going to take the sweep. Reminds me, I got to change the channel. Let me do that in just a minute. I'll change the channel topic in Slack.
To what? Our new Lance Overlord?
I've had the
We have a Lance channel.
Yeah, I get it, but I'm also the admin. So what are you gonna do?
Well, I mean, I'm just saying we have a Lance channel, and also our main feed is mostly about Lance. So I'm just saying
So,
maybe change
what-
the main feed to.
Okay. See, now you're talking. Now General is the Lance Stevenson channel.
Right.
It makes it more fun, doesn't it, Harper? This has been pretty brutal. At least Joey's happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
'Cause-
I've enjoyed
'cause
having Lance back.
And I mean, look, the games earlier, before he joined, I always start the season off excited, and then see where things go, and then it's been there's been a lot of games this year where I'm watching. It's like, you know what, I'm gonna go step in the other room for a few minutes, and because it's not fun.
Because
been
the
fun.
other team's going on a 17-0 run in the end of the third or whatever. What happens like every other game?
Yeah, and then we don't come back from anything, so you're going to lose.
Right.
So it's like, oh, cool. Well, the game's 3/4 over, so that means it's over. So I can go do something else now.
Well, at least we got Lance to make him dance. He's going to bring a rational confidence to all of his teammates, and very excited. Let's just sweep out the year.
That's that rational confidence at work.
Yep, there you go. All right, well, we will be back with you on Thursday with I was thinking I was going to do play-by-play of Lance's week, but do you think dribble by dribble is too much?
Not for Lance.
Yeah, not for
Okay.
Lance. And also,
All right.
I mean, it's pretty much better than anything else that's happened this season. So we're going to have a dribble by dribble breakdown on Thursday.
All right.
Buckle up. Strap on.
Buckle. We should get out of here.
You still have to do another show with me, Joe.
Yeah, I know. What's up with that? Until Thursday, you can hit us up on social media. We're on Twitter at Undebeatables. We're on Facebook.com/The Undebeatables. Our website is theundebeatables.com. There's also a contact form there that you can use to send us how much, all the ways you love Lance. An email, shout out at theundebeatables.com. Send your Lance love letters there. And we got t-shirts for sale.
I love how you always forget that that's my trigger. You were just going to stop, and then you were like, oh, right, he won't sing until I say T-shirts.
Yep.
For the architect, Donnie Walsh, for our once and always Hall of Fame coach, Bobby Sick Leonard, and for Lance, who's back for the rest of the year. Turn out the lights. The party is over.
Thanks, Axel.
I wanted him to be able to get his air guitar in.
Yeah. I tell you what, watching like the bench do the air guitar really brings me joy.
It's so good, man. It's so good to have him
cracked me
back.
up.
He's so fun out there. He said that he couldn't not take the first shot at when he brought the ball up against the Nets because it was his first day back with the fans, and they were like just basically calling for him to shoot.
Yeah.
And it went in, and he was like, "Uh-oh, here we go."
He dropped 20 points in like 3.5 minutes or something dumb.
I think it was
was
6.
unreal. Whatever.
Yeah, it was not a lot of time.
It was not a lot.
It was not a lot of time. 20 consecutive points, mind you.
Yeah. I mean, that's both good and terrible.
Agreed.